everyone just tries to chase him in greatness. So Pele is my number 5 greatest athlete of all time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in that one, Mac. But like I said, we'll kind of flow through it and hit all those at the end. But I'll get back to that one. I've got, not that I think it's bad or anything, but I had thought about that as well. At my number 4, I've got Serena Williams, the greatest female tennis player of all time, and probably, I don't even think you have to say probably, the greatest female athlete of all time. 4 medals, 23 Grand Slam titles, which is the record for both women's and men's. Um, we didn't really get too much into our exact criteria. We kind of talked about it, and it's just really just greatness. We could go on about the criteria, just all around greatness, whatever you see that as. I'll probably hit it with a couple of these people, but to be an inspiration to so many young women and women in general, just being at the top of her field and being as successful as she was, I had her at 4. Winning, setting the record, as most people know, getting that 23rd Grand Slam title while 2 months pregnant. Just something like that, that's huge. So I had Serena Williams as my number 4, the greatest female athlete of all time.
That's a good one. I probably need to be one of my honorable mentions towards the end.
We'll mention them. Yeah, it's tough.
I'm so mad at myself.
I'm
so mad. I literally had her as my honorable mention, but then I was like, nah, they're gonna roast me for doing that. So I backed down, put Muhammad Ali, but she was my honorable mention.
She's one of the best. She is the best. I mean,
like you said, Gabe, she won a major pregnant. Like if that's not greatest athletes, I don't know what is.
That's ridiculous.
I was like, if I put it, they might just be like, man, you're stupid. So I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
No, that's a toughness that you never really see in sports nowadays. To go out and do that is so impressive. Let's see, my number 4. I was kind of teasing y'all before. Number 4 is LeBron James. I mean, I also tried to look at it this way. It's not only what they did, in their sport, but kind of what they've done outside of the game. LeBron will probably go down as the best basketball player of all time. It's him and Jordan that are for sure the runaways, but LeBron's still playing at a high level at age 36. 4-time NBA champion, 4-time Finals MVP, 4-time MVP. He's going to break the record for probably most All-Star game appearances. But not only that, he is very influential off the court. I mean, opening the I Promise School is something that, is extremely impressive in its own right. Being able to put these kids through college, giving them a chance that, a lot of these kids might not be able to go to college or be able to afford it. And for him to say, like, if you can graduate from school here, I will give you a scholarship to the University of Akron. I mean, that's something that is so awesome as, for an athlete to do. He really gives back to the community that he grew up in. So, I mean, you got to, hands off to him for that. And, I mean, equally as impressive on the court, will go down as probably the greatest of all time by the time he retires. So,
like Mike, number 4 is LeBron James. He is a phenomenal athlete. He's chasing Kareem for the most points. I think he's the only player to have top 10 assists and rebounds and points, all 3. Longevity plays a huge part in this to me. I mean, the dude's played, for 18 years and still going strong. And the MVP odds came out today or yesterday, and he's leading the pack. So, he's still doing it at 36 years old, which is really impressive. You don't really see that many guys playing this high caliber at this age. So, yeah, and plus he could play almost everything. I mean, I think football he was arguably just as good, maybe a little bit worse, but he's still just as good in football. He could have played like tight end at Ohio State if he wanted to, maybe professionally. We don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna get this number 4 spot to LeBron James.
I am very glad to hear y'all both say that because I was expecting that. I'll go ahead and say he's my 3. Obviously, me putting it Jordan at honorable mention, and y'all know how I feel. I think LeBron's the GOAT, so you knew he was coming eventually. He's at my 3. I expected to hear a little, all right, there's your bias. Let's relax. But I do want to explain, really say the same exact things y'all said, but in my thinking a little more detail, just because. So there were three different criteria, and this wasn't necessarily the whole criteria for how I picked these people, but there were three different criteria when I had LeBron. There's obviously the career in his profession, like y'all both mentioned. The multiple records he'll have, the 4 rings, he's still actively playing. He could get more, might not, we'll see. As great as he's been as a basketball player, speaks for itself. He, regardless of who you have at this point, it seems like it's Jordan or Bron. I've got Jordan. I'm sorry, I've got Bron. You guys have got Jordan. I know it's close, but so on the court, that's one thing. You mentioned off the court, the I Promise School, the things he's, been confident enough to speak out on, which not everybody may like. And, it's gotten him in trouble sometimes, but I respect the ability for him to do it. He'll speak out on any social, political issues, and he's done that more. Mac, you mentioned Muhammad. He kind of pioneered that, but he's done that more than any other athlete has ever done it. So those are two things right there. And then, Mac, you briefly hit it as well. We're talking greatest athletes, of course. The pure athlete himself alone. To be 6'8", 250 pounds. I believe I looked it up. He had a 40-inch vertical. Obviously, that's in his prime when it got measured. I'm not sure. I couldn't exactly find what his 40 time maybe would have been. If I had to guess, probably around 4.5-ish. To be the size he was, the athlete he is. And, of course, there are a few guys on this list that are in this ballpark. Mike, you mentioned one, Dion. Bo's another guy who did play other sports, and we're finding them. And I know we can't look too much on what ifs, but like you said, Mac, he's one of the few guys who most people agree, regardless of how you feel about him. He probably could have been good, if not great, in an entire another sport. You look at his high school stats playing football at Titan, and I know it's like, yeah, that's high school stats, but he's still the athlete he was. He could have been a great, if not very good football player as well. So those three things all combined together are why I put him at 3. Obviously, there's the thing on him is that he's lost a good bit at the highest level that everybody says. Now, if his record was better there, I honestly would have put him at 1 on this list. That's the one thing that keeps him at 3, is that he has struggled at the highest level, which we're not going to get too much into that. That's more the details. But yeah, I got LeBron at my 3 for all those reasons I just mentioned.
Let's see. For my number 3, I've got Jackie Robinson. Most notably broke the color barrier in the MLB. Most notably stole home in the World Series, MVP, Rookie of the Year. What a lot of people don't know is that when he enrolled at UCLA, he was the first athlete to win varsity letters in 4 sports: baseball, basketball, football, and track. And on Wikipedia, it says baseball was Robinson's worst sport at UCLA. He hit .097 in his only season, although in his first game he went 4 for 4 and twice stole home. Stealing home is one of the rarest things in all of sports, and the fact that he did it twice in one game is nothing short of incredible. 1940 NCAA championship in the long jump. He could have been a professional in not just baseball, but, kind of what he did, in civil rights is also, why I think he should be up there. He, similar to kind of LeBron, he was a big part in social and political activism. And yeah, just not even that. The number 42 is retired by all teams in the MLB, which no one else can say that. The only person that was ever able to wear it was Mariano Rivera, and that's because he was grandfathered in. To this day, he has a day for himself where everyone wears 42. I know we've all seen the movie 42. He's one of the most influential players in all of sports history, I think. So I got him at my number 3.
Okay, coming in at my number 3, I have the GOAT, Tom Brady. I know this is a little bit of a curveball, but, he's played this is his 21st season, I believe, reaching his 10th Super Bowl. If you split his season in 2, he's got 2 Hall of Fame careers right down the middle. The dude, the value of him is insane. He took a 7-9 Buccaneers team and led them to the Super Bowl in only 1 year. Apparently I read somewhere where he got drafted out of high school from baseball. I don't know if that's right or not, but if that's true, he's a remarkable athlete on the baseball field as well. The dude's putting up insane numbers still. I think he threw 40 touchdowns this season.